this is FantasyEsque and welcome back to The Sims 4 Vampire Amazon Royal Saga with the Salizar coven. We are picking up on the third trimester of our alchemist Sofia Valenka's pregnancy. we are going to be continuing her beautiful horned bloodline. I mean, yes, she isn't horned herself, but the warlock that she bred with was one of the visitants who had horns. Even though he wasn't a vampire, he was a spellcaster. Still, we are going to be introducing some of those really cool genes into our pool of playable Sims through Sofia's children. So, we're excited about that. And I think we have about 2 days until the dragon birthdays, which is going to be like the last set of immortals that we get from the vampires in the younger generation. So time has been just flying by, which is crazy. This is, I think, probably one of the shortest generations we've had, given it's been going for 5 months. But still, we normally have longer seasons, but you know, that's only because we were so successful breeding. We got twin girls in the first, 3 pregnancies? So we didn't really have to work that hard. Anyways, we have just wrapped up a deal with Prince Voledmo for our Ranarain boys who have joined our forces once more in exchange for this warlock that we bred with Sofia. So what ended up happening? Well, like we discussed in the previous episode, the Queen had a certain plan, and she sent a message to Prince Voledmo that she wanted to meet on neutral ground in Brindleton Bay in a thicket between the Salizar fort and the visitant, right? Yeah. I was going to say Karamazov, but no, we generalize them as visitants. The visitant camp. Now, obviously, we call them visitants. They probably don't call themselves visitants. But, you know, I think they get the idea. They're the foreigners here, and that's what the Salazars refer to them as. But the Queen, she sent him a message, and he, you know, decided to meet because he was fascinated by why the Queen was so sure he would want to know about this deal. And the Queen said, well, we have a warlock of yours. He kind of just wandered into our camp. And if you want him back, give us our soldiers. The prince did seem interested in it. Obviously, they're a bunch of vampires, kind of issues with the sun. And now suddenly there is a warlock in the midst who can do some magic. Obviously, the vampires and spellcasters have different skill sets. So, you know, he's probably really happy that he has his warlock back with him. So they did a little swapsies, and the prince did come with all of his guards. The Queen just went with the hero of the Empire, Lady Oriana, who's currently not with us, but they went together, and I think the prince kind of knew enough to know that, you know, there was no way of ambushing these two females, because they are literally at the top of the food pyramid in this empire, so they're probably very powerful. So he just went to speak with the Queen. They, for the first time, kind of met each other, and whatever opinions they may have had of one another were either validated or challenged in their minds. I don't think they have time to speak too much about that because they were just there for the dealio. So that's what happened. Now, Voldemort, I enjoyed that whole meeting of theirs because, you know, for the Queen, she was being very formal, and Voldemort was being, like, I don't know, almost humble, sincere towards the Queen, but then she's like, well, you know, you're kind of trying to take over my lands, it's not very sincere of you. And he said, not at all, I am sincerely trying to conquer your lands. So I kind of just love that side of him. He is not necessarily an ass, but at the same time, you know, he's not gonna keel over like a puppy and basically let you be the one in charge, because he came here for a reason and he's not gonna back down, even though he will exercise some level of civility. So there was that. They did their exchange. He took the warlock. They got the Ranarain boys back, who are in Oasis Springs at the Shadow Fort with the rest of the army, or, you know, the one army alchemist that we have, because everyone else has been sent out to different parts of the Empire to do various things. So it's kind of good to have 2 soldiers back in Oasis Springs. So that's all that's gone down, and right now we're kind of just waiting for Sofia to have this baby/babies. We don't exactly know. Another thing for them, like their horns probably won't start showing up until they're teenagers. I don't think their horns are going to show at all, these kids, the Valenkas, until they are teenagers. Then they'll probably just pop out just like their father. So that will be quite interesting. I am going to be quite fascinated to see how that all turns up. And also to know, are they going to get those really cool ear genes? Because even the ears that the visitants have, they're sharp, just like these guys, but they're a little bit different to the ones that our ladies currently have. So a whole lot of things I'm fascinated by. Now, we have some potions that Sofia's made while she's been hanging around in the Magic Realm. So she was in the Magic Realm also at the end of the last episode with all of our vampiresses, and she bought like quite a few ingredients. She got a broom, and she also got a wand because, why not? Even though I'm not holding my breath to pass them on through the generations or anything, because The Sims has this really weird thing where half the time your inventory disappears. I try not to be too attached to certain items that I possess, Anyways, she's got that going, and she experimented, learned a few more potions, and then she made some of these emotional stability potions, which I never really used, but I realized that is probably going to be a super duper good potion for if we ever get really sad for some reason. If anyone dies, that's probably going to be the thing to fix it. So it's good to have on hand, I think. We might also have actually learned the curse cleansing. Let's check. Let us check. We have, yes, learned the potion for curse cleansing. Takes a whole lot of ingredients, but we know it exists now, which is good in case anyone gets cursed. Now, as for the warlock, Athel, who left, or who was returned to his people, he also has a secret task from the Salazars, which we also talked about in the previous episode. He has been given a potion to deliriate the waters behind within the visitant camp, and he's just gonna have to bide his time until he finds an opportunity to slip that potion in there. So we'll kind of see when and how he gets around to that. I feel as though there would be some sort of safety measure that Sofia has kind of inputted, that if he doesn't go ahead and do that, there probably will be something that backfires for the warlock himself. So if he doesn't, add the contents of the potion to the pool waters, there is probably a time limit for him to do that in, and if he doesn't, Sofia has, made it so that there will be a curse put upon him. And if he goes ahead with his task, then he won't be cursed. So there is that. He kind of has to think about himself now. And then the visitants and the beloved prince that he serves. So, cool things going on. If you look at the calendar, like I said, I don't know if Sofia's going to have a baby today or on Saturday, but these are kind of the two, I suppose, rest days we have before the birthdays of our dragon twins on Sunday. And we have been having quite a few birthdays, if I say so myself. Let's take a look. You want to get to know Meredith. And Meredith... Oh, you're doing your homework? Nice. Oh, you guys are thirsty. Okay, hold on. You guys are thirsty. I am just going to throw in some potions in your inventory. Don't mind me. Don't mind me at all. And you guys can go drink that. Drink the potion. It's Friday, so that's good. And you've done your homework. You are doing your homework. continue doing your homework, please? Continue doing the homework. She's just started. And Elaine is complete. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. It is kind of surprising that Elaine is like a C student when she has the genius trait, which means she should half the time autonomously be doing this on her own. You know what I'm curious about? Let's just quickly check the fears about Sims, because I feel like some might have come up that we haven't seen before. So we know about the unfulfilled dreams. Now the queen has interesting fears. She has the fear of being cheated on and judged. Cheated on. Aphrodite needs to talk with her partner and soon, otherwise Aphrodite's relationship will continue to have problems unless she finds a way to deal with it. Honey, your partner is dead. He died. Major died in the, was it previous episode, I think? No, the episode before. He died the episode before. And actually, we didn't have the princess's birthdays in the previous episode. That was the episode before that. Sophia got pregnant in the previous episode. But yeah, regardless. I just don't even know. And then she has a fear of being judged. Those judgmental eyes feel like they are staring right at Aphrodite. Which makes sense because, you know, this is an important time that the Salazars are going through, that the coven is going through. And everyone's kind of looking at the queen to see the kind of decisions she is making. In fact, in the movie that we had at the beginning of this episode, once the exchange was done for the prisoners, the Ranarain boys, they greeted Aphrodite and they said praise to her name. And then Yuki said the Salazar coven never forgets, right? Salazar coven never forgets. And then she told Voledmo that he had best remember that, which Voledmo said he will. But this was important. Getting those prisoners out, that was important, because this was the first time that the army has kind of lost in any way, shape, or form. And, you know, there hasn't really been any battles that has happened. I mean, there was the ambush, but, you know, they are kind of in a sabotaging war with each other rather than an outright battle. So it's kind of saying something if they are losing men and refusing to get them back. I mean, how is that going to motivate the soldiers you currently have, especially when, you know, the captured ones are brothers to some of the vampires that are currently in the army, or their cousins. Like, half the males are related, so obviously they care about it a lot more if someone's getting kidnapped, or not kidnapped, but, you know, getting captured, because this is not a random person that joined the army with them. This is their blood relative. So there was that, and I feel like they won quite a lot of points from people in the Empire and the army by getting those Ranarain boys back. And I feel like that would invigorate some of the soldiers, because now they can, you know, fight and do their battles knowing that if something does happen, it is not the end for them. The coven will find a way to get them back. The coven never leaves anyone behind. So that was important. And some of you have been telling me in the comments, you've been saying that Queen Aphrodite, she is actually probably the weakest queen. Maybe the weakest, I suppose, that we've had. You know what? I wouldn't say the weakest, but definitely one of the weaker ones. Funnily enough, the queen that ruled in Castle Narcissa in Brindleton Bay, where we currently have our Salazar fort against the visitants, she, personally, in my opinion, and I feel like a lot of your opinions, is known as the weakest queen we have ever had. In fact, there was a time when one of the members of her own court revolted and turned a bunch of her ambassadors against the coven, and then took over the castle and kidnapped the queen and forced the queen into a demonic marriage. So that happened, right? And then, of course, that court member then went ahead and, as a marriage gift, burnt all her associates, all her co-conspirators, in the death chamber, execution chamber? Something like that. Stuff has happened in the past, basically, right? And that queen just did not handle things well, and then her demonic priestess wife kind of held the reins for a lot of decision making. So she is known as the weakest queen we have ever had. And even though Aphrodite is obviously not like that, because she's never really lost this castle to anything, and all of her coven members have always been loyal to her, she still is always deferring important decisions to her council, and she's deferring certain things to even her daughter. Like when Guinevere was younger, she wanted to kick the Dravagers out of their chamber and throw them into, like a prison cell where we had bunk beds, and the queen let her daughter do that. She didn't stand up and say, no, that's wrong. She didn't stand up and say, actually, like quarter assignments, or, bedroom assignments, that's like my thing. I decide who goes where. She didn't do any of that. She kind of let Guinevere do whatever she wanted, right? Even though the Dravagers are the queen's nieces. So she has, like, her reins have kind of always been pulled by other people. Thankfully, the people that serve on her council are good and they are loyal to her. We haven't really had any, dark characters serve on her council. Nobody to lead her astray. Obviously, in the next generation, we have 2 evil sims, but the queen, she's been listening quite a lot. She listens rather than make her own decisions and think matters through on her own. She relies very heavily on others. And some of you were saying that if this was Athena's reign, then the visitants would have been put down as soon as they stepped foot on Salazar soil. Because Athena, she was a conqueror, and if I'm not mistaken, Athena was Aphrodite's grandmother. She was a conqueror for sure. She's the one who settled Oasis Springs for the first time. So she would have probably gone out there, battled it out with Prince Voledmo, and destroyed all the visitants before they were allowed to spread and fester. Right? Which Aphrodite hasn't done, because she spent a lot of time just waiting and watching and waiting and watching. And even this time around, rather than outright fight them or be decisive, she chose the safe route, which, I understand a lot of her counselors as well. They're not really war-hungry people. They're not very violent people. They prefer to do things peacefully, or as peacefully as possible. They're not exactly advising her to, cut down the enemies and stake their heads so that everyone is aware what happens to traitors. That's not the way they think necessarily. I feel like the strongest they've all reacted to anything was Emmanuel Savage when he had that secret wedding with Ciri in the very beginning. They were super protective over Ciri, and that's probably one of the only times they were so against something, or they were quite decisive. But even then, they exiled him. They didn't kill him, they exiled him. Oh my goodness. What is this fire? And also, where is this fire? Where'd you discover? Oh no, she's burning this. Honey, you are pregnant? We do not... Okay, look at that. Look at that. She's pregnant, but she is a badass. Because she's gonna put that fire out. Yep. She is gonna put that fire out. Good job. We're not calling the fire department. We are replacing these. And she was hungry. Just have a potion, really. Just drink a potion. Drink a potion, darling. Don't worry about cooking. Don't worry about cooking. Just have your potion. And you guys are good. You need potion. You obviously had a faulty one that didn't work. That's okay, I'll get you another one. I will get you another potion. Some of these potions can be faulty, and that's not really that great. That's fine. Let's drink. Let's drink. Did that work? Yes, it did. Excellent. But yeah, like I was saying, that's the most decisive anyone has ever been. But even then, they exiled him. Whereas in the past generation, the right thing to do would have been to kill him, to make an example of, such a man, but they didn't do that. And then she was quite forgiving in that the queen kind of said that the Dravagers, who, were the offspring of Ciri, and then the secret affair she had, Emmanuel Savage, the queen said that their father's traitor status would not pass on to them, so they could live life with a clean slate, except the kids they're growing up with don't see them as a clean slate. They see them as the product of an impure vampire and an impure themselves, so, or, of tainted blood. So that kind of never really worked out, because regardless of what the queen said would be kind of like the lawful thing, there's still prejudices in the empire and in the court, and so the children kind of grew up differently. But, the visitant threat, I feel like they reacted more dramatically to Emmanuel than to the visitant threat. Like, yes, they've been training, but at the same time, they have all very unprepared. They've been living really relaxed lives, even under Queen Wisteria. Wisteria, I feel like, would have waged a war on them. In fact, Wisteria decided to kill all of ambassadors because they were asking too many questions. So if anyone's decisive, I feel like Wisteria is really decisive. But, she would have gone ahead and probably waged a war from the get-go, and she would have been preparing all the kids, maybe sending them out on missions. Whereas Aphrodite is definitely not like that. She's keeping all her kids behind walls. She's keeping them safe. She, even as teenagers, didn't want them to know too much about what was going on. Only when they became immortals did news start trickling, and then now the dragons, they were sent to Brinalton Bay to be at Castle Narcissa with the other kids, but they were being protected by the other new immortals, so they probably weren't even allowed out of the castle too much while all of that was happening. And now they're back because, the queen was in a hurry to get them back to safety as soon as possible, now that the warlock was out. So, yeah. Things have been, people are looking at her, she's kind of stressed about decision making when she's not really making decisions. So, I understand basically why she has a fear of being judged. Okay, and then who else do we have? Did I go through the others? No, I didn't. You, Unfulfilled Dreams. Now, Elaine has an interesting one. She's got a fear of swimming. Elaine will be too scared of swimming in the water and run out immediately if she somehow ends up in the water. Now, I don't know how the heck that happened, but it happened somehow, which is kind of fascinating to me. Okay, well, I need to lock this for everyone because you guys shouldn't be in the interrogation chamber. There is no reason for you to be playing around in there, youngins. Okay, has everyone done their homework? Do extra credit work, actually. Catherine's gonna do some extra credit work. Yeah, I think that is good. Let's focus in on this. It's funny how she's doing better at school because, at the academy, because she's not the genius one. Her sister is the genius one, but then she's a bookworm. So I suppose that also makes sense. Does that make them do their homework? I'm not entirely sure. I know genius sims will autonomously do homework. But that's fine. How are they doing in terms of their vampiric powers? Okay, she is a minor vampire, and so is her sister. That's interesting, because her younger sister does not pay as much attention to academy homework, but she seems to be paying more attention to vampiric training. So I guess it's a give and take. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And you did want to get to know Meredith, but Meredith isn't even here right now, unfortunately, so you can't really do much with Meredith. And then some of you were saying, these, I love hearing opinions on certain things, it's just so fun, but a bunch of you guys were saying, what is this? No, I don't even know who that is. Some of you guys were saying that you like Eden better as a character, but you feel as though Guinevere would be the better queen, and under Eden the empire would probably crumble and start collapsing, whereas Guinevere would help maintain the Salazar empire as it is, perhaps grow it, but regardless she would be the right choice for the Empire. So I am very curious as to what the fates have in store. Like, are we gonna hand over reins to Eden, or is Guinevere gonna win the title and do right by her bloodline? I don't know. I mean, just look at the traits of Eden. She's firstborn and she is the heiress, but she's childish, she's squeamish, and yeah, she's adventurous, but I feel like the other two traits kind of cancel that out. I mean, even if she is open-minded, she doesn't have the guts to actually go through and do anything on her own, and I feel like she's not a visionary. She's very short-sighted, you know, thinking about what makes her happy in the present rather than what makes everyone happy in the long term. That's very much Eden. And so I feel like despite her being open-minded, she would lose sight of a lot of things very quickly because she just doesn't have the characteristics to see things through. Whereas Guinevere, yeah, she's evil, a music lover, and a goofball. But all of that just tells me that she is going to be a very decisive and charismatic queen who has the guts to get things done, who has the grit to see things through. Like we said with her being evil, she kind of has this innate thing, but also I think a lot of her evilness stems from this superiority complex which she feels the vampires and specifically her bloodline has over others. And the music lover, we said, you know, she loves the sound of pain and possibly death and torture. She's really into all of that. It's like music to ears. And then the goofball thing, she has like a very dark sense of humor, we said. That's kind of how things have developed. So, yes, they might not be the brightest things in a princess, but I feel like you kind of have to be a certain level of dark to qualify as a Salazar queen. And she has that. She really does have that. Also, I have heard mentioned that in the past we've seen certain like queens, I suppose, who try and imitate the Salazar characteristics, right? Especially with the white hair, when they're trying to connect with, or like be more worthy of the crown or the throne, and trying to connect with their heritage. Like Athena, she was a brunette. She was born a brunette, but we know her famously as the white-haired queen, and she dyed her hair white when she became queen to imitate Sheba, Queen Sheba, right? Our very first, like our founder. And then now we're kind of seeing that Guinevere, she and her sister both had black hair, and Eden is kind of being unique. She dyed her hair a light brown, which we haven't really had any Salazar queens with light brown hair, so that's kind of interesting. She's doing something a bit different. So she's gone with light brown, but Guinevere, quite decisively, she's gone white. She's trying to imitate the queens, the really good queens in the past. Actually, one of the strongest queens in the past have all had white hair. We had Sheba, the founder, and then we had Athena, Generation 3 queen, in Oasis Springs, where our army is based. So, yeah, she's doing that. So we'll see how far that gets her, really. Okay, you guys are fine, right? You are. I swear, these moodlets, or, like, the colors of these bars, they kind of lead you astray. Not gonna lie. They do lead you quite a bit astray. Okay, can we invite Meredith over? I kind of want to actually, I want to invite a bunch of the Sims over. And the best way to do that is through the summoning over here. So what we can do is get rid of these Sims. And this isn't, like, this summoning is literally just a group for us to throw Sims in that we want to invite to the castle at the same time without them, like, inviting them personally and having them reject us. So Meredith, Lagatha, we'll call over the princesses, Eden, Guinevere. I think we have, what, 3 more spaces? 3 more spaces. Yuki is not with us currently. So invite Yuki and Safira. And Siri? Yeah. So we'll invite these ladies, we'll summon them to the castle. That way all of the vampirists can spend some time together and that'll be great. Please come on inside, let's not burn out in the sun. Even though these ladies do have enough brains to use the umbrella, although this is kind of scary because like all of the male deaths we've had, most of the male deaths we've had has been literally in this scenario where we invite them over and they're leaving and then they catch on fire, which is kind of sad. Okay. Everyone's over here. Everyone. But Guinevere, gorgeous. Gorgeous. I mean, she and Eden are the exact same, but you know, they look cool. I like their styles. I like their styles. Thoroughly am enjoying it. And yeah, I feel like the white hair on her right now is her trying to look like the heiress more than the heiress is being the heiress, if that makes any sense. Okay, where is Meredith? You're here. Meredith is outside? Where is Meredith? Meredith has the silver dress. Meredith! Meredith! I don't know where she is. I cannot see a Meredith anywhere. Can you guys see a Meredith? Meredith, where'd you go? I don't see her. I actually don't see her. I see Lagatha, but like we need to get to know Meredith, so where is she? Let me replace this. And she's not even swimming or anything. She might not be here yet. Sofia just showed up. Do you guys want to like come inside? I get very nervous when my Sims want to hang around outside while the sun is still up. I get very nervous. Let's go indoors. Don't chat up here. I mean, they have their umbrellas out, so that's something, but you know. Can we go inside, please? Please? Looks as though Meredith ain't gonna be a thing, guys. Unfortunately. Don't think Meredith is gonna be a thing. It's nice that the youngins are talking to each other, though. Like, really, it's great that the youngsters are talking to each other. But I think we should probably get these two studying some tomes. I would very much like them to do that. So, let's see. Where are the tomes? There is one here. I'll get Catherine to reread that tome. There should be another one here. Yep, we will let Elaine... Oh, there is Meredith. Great. Well, can we not do this out here, kids? Everyone, inside, right now. Oh, jeez, they freak me out so much. Okay, I'm gonna get everyone to just sit together here, and hopefully they all... Or if you want to go down, let's just get everyone in this room. Come on, let's just call everyone inside. I don't like that they'll hang out there. That's dangerous. Oh, jeez. I got so scared. For a second. For a second, I was like, wait, what? Someone's on fire. Someone's dying. No, they're not. Sophia's in labor is what is happening. Okay, I'm going to get everyone set up in the birth chamber, and then we will be right back. Okay, this is a very, very busy birth chamber, as you can see. Literally everyone is here, which is nice because I didn't actually think we'd have so many people. Like we did, I didn't think we'd have the whole flippin' coven attending Sophia's birth over here, but apparently they are, so that's really cool. It's nice, you know, to have that support system. So we're excited, and I think a lot of the buzz is surrounding the fact that she is going to have a half-visitant child right now. So I do have my names ready, and I do want to dive into it and get going. So we have room for triplets. We shall see whether she has a boy or a girl. In fact, boys would be welcome at this point because we have had no boys. And some of you were saying this about the army. It is not good that we have soldiers dying in the sunlight because we literally do not have the males to replace them. We haven't had any sons born in this generation, which you might think is a good thing, but in the long run, I suppose it isn't. It's good to have a balance. So, male spellcasters would be fine, but they're not going to be vampires, so that is that downside. It is good to have vampire sons. We had a lot in the last generation, and then we had none this time around. Like, the queen in the previous generation alone had 7 sons. And then we had Aphrodite born. So 1 princess, 7 sons, 7 soldiers for the army. But okay, let's finally have this flippin' baby once she finishes laughing. Let's have this baby and see if it's gonna be a boy, if it's gonna be a girl. Let's see, Sofia. What do you have for us? What do you have for us, honey? I got names sorted, so I'm excited about that. And obviously these kids, if anything, would be apprenticed to Xiomara and Serana. They wouldn't be in line after Sofia. It's a girl, which I was sort of... I did like a little sound of excitement and surprise, but really I shouldn't be because all we've had is girls this generation. But okay, little baby girl Valenka. We are going to name her Azura Valenka, which is a beautiful name. And this name was suggested to me by Auroran Maiden. So thank you so much for that lovely name. Azura, welcome, welcome. Now, do you have any sisters or brothers, Azura? Oh, our first boy. Now, this is a surprise and this is a welcome one. So we have our first baby boy in this generation, who unfortunately is not a vampire, but at least it's a boy. And he's going to be a horned boy. And actually, I'm excited now because we have a horned girl and a horned boy, which is really cool. Okay, I normally just randomize the boy names in Vampire Amazon, so Rick Valenka, I'm fine with that. We can have a Rick Valenka. And that's it. We had twins. Nice, we had twins. So we have a baby girl and a baby boy. A baby girl and a baby boy. So that is really cool. Obviously, this baby boy is going to be sent to the spellcaster camp, to the army, right? So he's going to be raised with them. And then when he becomes a teen, he's probably going to start showing his horns. And then Zora, I mean, she's going to be sent to the Glenbrook embassy. But I am so proud of Sofia. She had a boy and a girl, which is just lovely. I was going to say, it would be good if we could just, for the sake of breeding in the future, it would be good to have males and females with the horn gene. And actually, now we've secured the spellcaster side, it would be nice going forward if we could at some point in the next generation start having some horned males born and some horned females born. But then again, we kind of are at war with the visitants right now, so I don't see exactly how that's going to be a thing. Like what, sleeping with the enemy? But stuff could happen. It could totally happen. Okay, let's take care of little baby Rick. Azura is such a pretty name though. Especially Azura Valenka. That sounds really cool. That sounds really cool. Okay, there we go. There we go, Sofia. She did really well. She did really well. I'm proud of her. Are you guys proud of her? I'm mainly happy because she had a boy and a girl. So, or I should say she had a girl and a boy. So it feels like we won. But yeah, next generation, we're definitely going to have to try and replenish some of our soldiers. Like, we're going to need some male vampires born. Actually, we're going to be looking out for those baby boys. I tell you, the next generation. We were so excited about the girls in this one, but also because of that, the generation's going by so quick because we had all of our girls super early and they aged up real quick. But now I kind of want to be keeping an eye out for boys because, we've had soldiers dying and we need more soldiers. And the way that the Salazar, the Queen's private army works is that you can't really join the army like males. males make up the soldiers, but they can't really join the army if they're not a blood relative. So you can only join the army if you are a son of the queen or if you are the son of a lady in court. So only blood-related males get to join the queen's private army. But okay, guys, with that said and done, I'm going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed as much as I had fun playing this. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.